When it comes to operating the trailer and moving the trailer, you want to make sure that as much water is emptied from the unit. So you can empty the fresh water tank with this valve here. You'd also want to get the waste tanks pumped out as much as possible if you're going to transport it. When it comes to using the system, the fresh water is going to be coming in from the outside there, and you're going to have two options. You can have it fill up the fresh water tank, and then you can use the fresh water tank water and have this valve open to feed your system. But in general, it's much easier to just have the fresh water come from the outside down this line and have this open and this one closed, and then that will feed your water system. All of your plumbing, as you can see, is clearly labeled. If for some reason you need to shut off a part of the trailer, in the manual there's a sheet that tells you what number corresponds to what part of the trailer. All of your lines, your plumbing lines, should be on, except the ones I mentioned, depending if you're going to use the fresh water tank in and of itself or just bypass that. All the other lines should be on except this line. This valve should only be used in the event that you will winterize the trailer and not going to use it in the winter below freezing. There's instructions in the manual, once again, on how to winterize, but when you're pumping antifreeze through the system, that would be the only time that you would turn that valve into the on position. All other times, it should be off like it is now. But when you are winterizing, you would turn that in the on position. You would turn both the red and the blue valves off. And the idea is so that antifreeze can go through both the hot and cold system. But with these off, it will bypass your hot water tank. But once again, that would only be in the event when you're winterizing the trailer. This trailer does have a winter package. So as long as you're plugged into electric, you can use this during the winter. So make sure you have the electricity plugged in. You would turn on the mechanical room heater along with the one on the far left, second to the left, tank heater. So having both of those on will allow you to use the trailer in the winter, and you won't have to worry about it freezing. Inside your owner's manual, with all the keys, you have bolts. And these bolts are going to be used to attach the ADA ramp to the ADA side of the trailer. When it comes to raising and lowering the trailer, there's a few pins that you'll need to pull. You have a pin here on the tongue. There is also a pin on this axle and then on the other side axle. So remove all three pins. Then, as indicated here, you want to remove the ramp before lowering. So the key's in the mechanical room for the ramp lock. You can take this out and then have two people pull this ramp out. Once all that is set up, in this door you have the remote control. There's actually two remote controls for the drop part of the trailer. Simply push the down arrow and the trailer will lower to the ground. Here is what one of the remote controls looks like. Once you have all the pins pulled and the ramp pulled, you'll push the down arrow. And this isn't your trailer, but it gives you an idea of what it looks like when it's lowering. In your case, you'll want to lower the trailer about 5 or 6 inches off the ground and then attach the bolts for the ADA ramp and then finish lowering the trailer to the ground. You'll also need to get the 100-pound propane tanks filled, and you can decide whether you want to use the left or the right side. There is your 50 amp power service and your fresh water hookup, standard garden hose. There's a sight gauge. And as outlined, there is your hydraulic pump with the remote controls inside.